Hello. Today's video is going to talk about the spreadsheet assignment for Tech Ed 7 for the CO2 dragsters. This is the big assignment, so this is one that you need to pay real special and close attention to because this is going to be worth the most points. This is how you're going to catch up on points if you're a little bit light in some of the points now. So pay attention and follow along very carefully. In this, you're going to head to my Moodle page, which you've been to many times before. You've watched all 22 of the videos that I put up here every day for telling you what's going on every day. And I want you to go through in here and I want you to find the one that says CO2 Dragster Data Collection. Okay, so when you find that one, if the arrow is not down, turn it down. If it is down, you're going to see all this. Okay, so what I want to show you here is we're going to work with something called a spreadsheet. Okay, and I'm going to walk you through bits and pieces of the spreadsheet and stuff like that. But these 4 videos right here, these are just 4 videos on the spreadsheet right here. And these are general spreadsheet instructional videos. I don't know if Google put them out or something like that, but it is for Google Sheets. Okay, so this is getting started with Google Sheets. If you click on that, it'll open a video that somebody else produced. Modifying columns, rows, and cells, formatting cells, and creating simple formulas. So those are some very introductory videos. Watch them if you have no clue what a spreadsheet is, no clue how the spreadsheet works, and watch those. I'm going to walk you through some of the aspects of spreadsheet too, and I have other videos for you to watch as you go through and do your spreadsheet. So there's a lot of stuff to help you with getting this spreadsheet done. And then you're going to see in here, it says virtual racing data spreadsheet instructions. These are the instructions that you need to follow to complete this assignment. Okay, this is going to be a step-by-step instruction how to do the work. Okay, and then when you're all done and everything is done with this, this is your turn in. Okay, and we'll talk about that at a later time, not today, but we'll talk about this at a later time. But that is your turn in where you turn your final assignment in. Okay, so today I want to click right here on the virtual racing spreadsheet instructions, and what's going to happen, it's going to load a Google Doc. Okay, and that Google Doc is going to say Q5, which is Quint 5, 1920, which is where the 1920 school year, virtual racing data spreadsheet. And these are the instructions for this spreadsheet. And I'm just going to pop up the size of it just a little bit here. Okay, so we can see it here. Okay, so virtual racing data spreadsheet instructions. Ooh, now it really popped up. There we go. I think now you should be able to see everything right here. There we go. Okay, so the objective is to create a spreadsheet to record and calculate virtual race data results. So you're going to record results for your car as well as everybody else in the class. Okay, so as the instructions say, and I'm going to read these to you, I suggest you reread them yourself when you open this up. But it says you will use your final CO2 car to compete in virtual races against all other qualifying cars in your class. So remember the last assignment was you had to save your car as Q5 final and then the car name that you had. Well, this is that's why we need that final car. Okay. So we're going to label your dragster starting with the best and the name. So we already did that. At the end of each race, you'll record the mass and the time for the cars on the sheet titled Virtual Race Spreadsheet Data Collection. We'll talk about that. You will then use the data to create a spreadsheet for virtual races by following the directions below. Okay. Now here is a key instruction. All bolded and yellow highlighted items are what is to be entered into the spreadsheet. So if you see something that is bold and yellow highlighted, that is exactly what goes in where it says it's supposed to go in. Okay, that's exactly what is supposed to go in there. Okay, don't make it into something else. Make it something that's not. That is exactly what is supposed to go in there, whatever you see in bold yellow. Okay. While you're working on your spreadsheet, you may, as you enter formulas and things like that, some areas might come up, or some of your answers when you enter a formula and you hit enter, it may come up with this division by zero error. Okay, that's fine. If it comes up with the division by zero error, it means you actually did it right. Okay, the reason it's coming up with this error is because you have no numbers for it to do math with yet. So you need to make sure that if you got a division by zero error, you're doing it right. And when the numbers go in there, that division by zero error will change to a real answer. Okay, so just understand that. This is normal. Okay, like I said, and those calculations they're on. Now, you see anything that you see that is blue and underlined like this, these are videos. Okay, so here's a list of all the videos that are embedded throughout this instructions. Okay, and they're here and they're in various other places through your instructions. You always watch this. All these are videos I made except for this last one's conditional formatting one. This is done by some more of an expert in conditional formatting. Okay, so they did that one, but I've done the other one. So these are all videos on how to do this. Now, understand, this video does not tell you the answer to these instructions. It gives you, this is how you achieve what you're trying to get to. Okay, it is not going to give you the exact answer. So just understand that these help you understand what you are doing. Okay, the next thing is down here it says, and if you want to make sure that everything is looking the way it's supposed to look, here is an example spreadsheet right here. Okay, and if you click on that and you click on the spreadsheet, it'll open. This is what we're going to try to create. Okay, this is what we're going to try to create. Next one here, I've got to actually go out. Okay, because it doesn't have the whole or a lot of the pieces in it. So I'm going to go out there. It's going to maybe take a little bit for it to, there we go. But we're going to have each student's name, each student's car name, the mass of their car, the time that their car took, and then you're going to have math problems that are going to figure feet per second, feet per hour, miles per hour. And then we're going to do some other calculations that are going to come with it here, but you're going to do everybody's in class. Okay, so here's an example of what the your spreadsheet should look like. Obviously, this is not your class. This is all made up stuff. Okay, so but this is an example of what it should look like when you turn yours in. Okay, and you're going to have two tabs on here. Okay, you'll have the virtual racing challenge tab, which is the one we're looking. So this is all the names and car names and calculates all the way out to the miles per hour. And then you're going to have your data collection tab, which I click on here. It looks almost exactly the same, except it doesn't have feet per hour, feet per second, feet per hour, miles per hour. Okay, this is just now where you, okay, I have got to put in Max Rhodes' name, and then on Max's dragster name, his mass, and his time. Okay, and you list that all in here. This is basically like if we were racing and you were writing down the stuff on paper, we're going to put it in here instead. Okay, and then as you write this down in here, if you do all the formulas right, when I type in Max Rhodes here, then it automatically will fill in right here. And you don't have to type anything in here. So if I were to go change this, now take a look, A4 says Rhodes, right? If I were to go change this and I typed in Smith here and hit enter, notice I changed it to Max Smith here. Okay, I go back to my virtual tracing challenge, it changed it to Smith there. Okay, so just understand that whatever you change in data collection will change in here. Okay, so that's the example, okay, spreadsheet. So to making sure that yours looks like what it should look like, that's what you want to keep referring to. Okay, so now the instructions start right here, getting started, and it always says double check your formatting. Double check everything you do to make sure you did it right, because the instructions are going to be very specific. Okay, so in this one, it says after opening a new Google Sheet. So here's how you go open a new Google Sheet. Make sure you get into a Google tab, okay, and you can go into the waffle, and you can go into Drive if you want to, or if you want to, you can just find it right here and see Sheets, okay, and you just click on it and you open Google Sheets. And then when Google Sheets opens up, it's going to come up like this, and you want a blank document. Okay, so you're going to click on blank document, and then the blank document will open up. Now, when you compare what this looks like here, and I'm going to wait till it's done loading, but compare what this looks like on the blank document to what it looks like on a filled out document. Notice everything is similar, except now there's all kinds of data in here and stuff like that. You still have your columns, you have your rows, and I'm going to go back over here while this one's still opening. I have my columns and I have my rows. Okay, so just to kind of explain this really quickly, okay, every column is going to be a letter. Okay, so this is column A, column B, column C, and it goes all the way out to way, like double Z or something like that. Okay, and every row is going to be a number, and the numbers will go to infinity if you need to. Okay, so every row is going to be an infinity or a number. Okay, so we have columns and numbers and where they intersect, such as where this column intersects with this row right here. This is called a cell. Okay, this is called a cell, and you notice that they're all lined right here. So you can see lines. All the rows have lines. All the columns have lines. So this is a cell, and you can see my cell is highlighted right here. Okay, we're going to have that cell is going to have a specific address. Okay, every cell has an address on here, and the address always starts with the column first, then the row. So in this particular case, this is cell A1. Okay, so that's the address of that cell. So when somebody says, "Oh, in cell A1, this is what you got to do," then you go, "Oh, here's A, there's 1. Click on it. I'm in cell now A1." If I wanted to go to J10, then I would go, okay, here's J. I go down to J and I go to 10. I click on that, and you can see I highlight this box. It kind of shades the column I'm in, and it shades the row I'm in. So now I know I'm in J10. Okay, so that's the address of that cell. So please, when you're looking at the instructions and it tells you to do something in a cell, find that cell and do whatever it tells you to do in that particular cell. Okay, so that's our kind of just a quick bit on just understanding the addresses and stuff like that. Again, the instructions, the videos in the instructions are going to give you more information in a lot deeper detail. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the instructions here, and I haven't even done, I just says after opening a Google Sheet. So that's all I've done so far. I've just opened a new Google Sheet. Okay, document, or after opening a new Google Sheet document, title it Data Spreadsheet for Racing, first name, last name. Okay, so now here's the one thing that is going to be different from what I told you at the very beginning. Remember I said everything in yellow bold is exactly what you type. Okay, well obviously I don't want first name, last name in your title. I want actually your first name and your last name. So what you're going to do in here is you're going to go title it, and you're going to title it Data Spreadsheet where was it? Data Spreadsheet for Racing. Yep. And then I want your first name and your last name, just like that. Okay, so that's going to look just like that, except your name here. Okay, so that's the only one that you do not type the exact thing. I don't know how else to put it in here other than that way. Okay, so then once I do that, I have enter. There we go. Now it's titled. Okay, then it says make sure your spreadsheet is saved in the correct technology folder. So what you're going to do, the simple way to do that is to go in here and click this folder icon and find the technology folder that is for your class. Now, I don't have those technology folders, so you're going to have to find the one that is appropriate for your class. It's the technology folder for your fifth quint, okay, for your fifth quint. So let's say that's already done. Now it says title the sheet Virtual Race Challenge by clicking on sheet 1 in the lower left corner of the spreadsheet and renaming it. So I could go to my spreadsheet. In the lower left corner, I see sheet 1. I see an arrow. I go renaming it, and now I can rename it what it just said here, Virtual Race Challenge. Okay, so I go down here, click on it, rename, and I can just type in Virtual Race Challenge. Enter. Now I've renamed that from sheet 1 to that. Okay. Then it says merge and center, and this is A1, and then you have the 2 dots. That is through H1. Anytime you see the 2 dots like that, that is through A1 through H1. And then there's a merge and center video. Okay. And you go, well, I don't know what merge and center is. Then that's why you have the video. You click on the video, pop that open, and then a video will come up of me explaining what merge and center does. Okay, so once that pops up, you hit play, and it's a couple minute long video. I don't even know how it's a 2-minute video on how to merge and center. Now, like I said before, it is not going to tell you the exact how to merge and center A1 through H1. It's not going to tell you that. It's going to give you the concept of how to merge and center things. The reason why it doesn't tell you how to merge and center A1 through H1 is because there's multiple merge and centers throughout these instructions. There's multiple merge and centers around the instructions in my 8th grade spreadsheets and my 6th grade spreadsheets. So I can't be specific to every merge and center, but this is where the video you're going to find. Okay, I'm going to close that. So you're going to go do that, and then it says change the fonts to Georgia 14 point and bold. And one thing I did not realize is that people don't understand what this means. So here's the thing, okay? I'm going to go back to the spreadsheet, and it says change it to 14 or Georgia. The one thing you want to do is when you click on here, don't go all the way. You have another sheet somewhere that yours goes farther. There is somehow you can look it up. Don't look up Georgia because somehow it does not pop up. Go to the down here and scroll through all these and you'll find Georgia. Okay, click on Georgia. The 14 point means the size, 14, and then bold. Okay, and that's italics, that's strike through, things like that. But that's what it's telling you. Georgia 14 bold. So anytime you see that instruction, it says a font, a size, and if it's bold or not. Okay, and then you go through the whole entire thing following along. Let's go to this one. So now this one gives you something to do in A3. Okay, type that in. B3, type that in. C3, type that in. And so on and so forth. Type all this stuff in exactly where it tells you. And you just keep going along. And in some cases, you're going to find, where as you type stuff in, it runs into the next column. Well, here's a video on what to do if that happens. And here's another video if you want to try a different method of taking care of that. So these are 2 videos of how to make your data look better so they don't run into each other in columns. And then, other things. In cells A4, enter this formula. Okay. Now, again, if it's bold and in yellow, type exactly what it says. in that bold and yellow. Okay. And then this says copy the formula down, and here's what formulas are and how explains what this actually is. It's a formula. Okay. And you just go through all these steps. Here you're going to have to do a little bit thinking for yourself. Okay. This is going to have you do a math formula, and it's going to have you figure out how to do it. So it's going to step you through it. Distance of the virtual track is measured in 60 feet. Okay, so it's 60 feet. Do you know what the cell location of the time for your dragster is located? Well, you will, because you go down here and you've told it that your times are going to be in column E. So you know the cell numbers, okay, or the cell locations. Now it says the formula is feet per second times second. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm the wrong one here. The formula is distance in feet divided by time in seconds. Okay, so what is our distance in feet? 60, right here. So you would type in the formula, okay, as it explains up in here, and it explains in here, okay, and it says create a formula, and Spreadsheet offers that, and you would type in 60 divided by the location of the dragster time, which you know it's E something, and then that'll do the formula, okay, and then you'll end up with the division by zero error, okay. Watch the formula video. The formula is explained to understand what a formula is and what a formula looks like, because every formula always starts with an equal sign. Notice these formulas started with an equal sign, okay, and then just follow your way through everything here. Go down, do all this type of stuff, and read things carefully, understand things. If you have questions, email me, but email me about a specific thing. Don't just say, I don't know how to do this. Okay. Email me. Number 33, what do you mean by 12 point? Whatever it may be. Okay. I want more specifics. I can't, to answer a question, I don't know what the question is. Okay. And then more stuff to do. Yes, it does look like a lot of things, but I have laid out every single step. And if you follow every step in order, that is the other key, in order. Okay, starting at 1, going to the end in numerical order, you start that, you will find that this is very, very easy to do, actually. Okay, now it may look like there's a ton of steps. There's 73 steps, okay? But those 73 steps, like I said, are easy. Some of them are just, do this, click on that, do that, okay? So, again, ask questions if need be, but before you go and ask a question about, I don't know about formulas, have you watched the formulas explained? Have you understood what merge and center is? Don't ask me, I don't know how to merge and center. Have you watched the video? Okay, because the questions that I will ask, if you say, I don't know under merge and center, I will respond back, did you watch the video? Rewatch the video. Okay, I am not going to give you answers to this. The answers are all right here on the instructions. And when everything is said and done, after you get through all this, it's going to tell you that you will place all your let's see, add the names of all your classmates. Okay, this list of classmates is in your technology folder. I gave you the class list. So you're going to just type in your classmates' names in there. Okay, then you're going to go and you're going to, once you got all your classmates' names typed in where they're supposed to be, then you're going to go erase them. So you're going to go back to the dragster, and you go to competition, and everybody's dragster should be in here labeled Q5 final, and then whatever the car name is. Okay? Whatever the car name is. And that's what you want to race. You look for all the Q5 finals. Okay? And then you know whose car it is because, this one happens to say Lauren's car, but here's Lauren's name. This one says Shay, but here is Shay's name. This one doesn't have a name, but you know that's mine because it says teacher. Okay, but you're only looking for the ones that say Q5 final. If, like in this case, this is not a final one yet. Okay, that's not a final one. This happens to be one that Emerson has done, but hasn't deemed it as a final car yet. So it's not there yet. Okay, so don't use that one. Only use ones that start with Q5 final. Okay, um, once you do that, here's the quick thing. You do not have to take your car, okay, and race it against every other car in your class. Okay, you have to race your car once. So let's say I race my car against Shay's car. Okay, I can race that. I get my data, I get Shay's data. Neither of our data is ever going to change ever again. That data remains the same. Okay, so now I can take Lauren's car, and let's say Patrick's. This one was a final, and I could take Patrick here, and I could race those two together, and I can get both Lauren's and Callie's car, and I got their data. So I can race mine versus somebody's, two other people against each other, two other people against each other, two other people against each other. I'm starting to collect all the data for all my people in my class. So I do not have to race everybody. So really, if there's 25 people in class, you're going to have to race like 12 times, 13 times, something like that. Okay. So you do not have to race 26 times, 25 times, because you don't have to race every single one. Your data will never change. Their data will never change. Okay. So that's how you get the data in here. The one thing I do want to point out, and I'm going to go back to, let's go back to here. Notice in the car name, okay, we just left the car name. I took the Q5 final off of it because that's really not the car name. That was just an indicator for us to know which one is the car we want to use. So in this case, if I go in here and I take this one, Q5 final Speedy, okay, I don't want to put in my thing, where to go? I don't want to put in here Q5 final Speedy. I just want to put Speedy. Okay, because that's really the name of the car. Okay, so in the car names, just put the name that is in there. So in like Lauren's case here, it's Lauren's CA space R1 final exclamation point. That's her car name, minus this port. Shay's is Silent Shay 2.0. Okay, and so on and so forth. So that would be the car name. So make sure you do that. So we actually have the authentic car names and not the Q5 stuff in there. Okay, that's just more to type that you don't need to type anyway, because we know they're all going to be Q5 finals. So that is how to do your data spreadsheet, your virtual data racing spreadsheet. Yes, there are 73 steps, but if you take them all and you walk through them simply enough, it's going to be fairly easy to do. The one thing I do need to point out also is if you've, let's just say I did, 1 through 14 today, and I did that, make sure you know in some case, write down on a sticky note or something like that. Last one I did was step 14. So when I come back, I know, I did 14 last, so now I got to start with 15 and work on. So every time you walk away from the computer for, the night or the day or whatever like that, make a note of where you need to restart again so that you don't get lost and confused and where you should be. I have had many people come up to me and go, I don't know where I left off. Well, if you don't know where you left off, I definitely don't know where you left off. So I can't help you. Okay. So again, step by step instructions. My suggestion, you have until the 22nd of May to get this done. This is due on the 22nd of May. Okay. This is due on the 22nd of May. This is a Friday. Okay. That's little over 2 weeks. Okay. A little over 2 weeks. Do not wait till the 21st to try to do this. Okay. Do not wait until then. Do this a little bit now, a little bit now, a little bit now. If you do 10, 15 steps a day, it's going to get done, especially if you run into maybe a couple of the ones that may be a little bit more confusing directions or have to, understand some stuff and you have to wait for answers if you're asking questions, you don't want to wait till the last minute to do this. Take little chunks and do this. Do this little chunks at a time. And then you should be set. And then I will talk about when I get closer to the 22nd, probably that week, I will tell you how to hand it in. So don't worry about handing it until I give you the instructions how to. So, with that, I hopefully covered everything you need to know about the spreadsheet and how to do your data spreadsheet. And again, videos are here to look at. Remember the bold yellow highlighted things and watch videos. Watch videos. Look at the example. Is mine looking like what this one looks like? Is it way off? Is it really close? Something like that. And then make sure you indicate somehow to yourself where you left off from the last time when you took a pause or took a break from it. Okay, so with that, good luck with the spreadsheet. It is not that difficult if you follow the directions, and that is probably the real key of this. Is I want to know how well you follow the directions on this. This main task is following the directions and seeing if you can. Okay, so do this well, take your time with it, but still don't wait to the last minute. And we'll give you information on how to turn that in when we get closer to that time.